3 years ago, I pitted the first two Plants vs Zombies shooter games, Garden Warfare 1 and 2, against each other and gave 5 reasons why one game is better than the other. And when questioned if I was going to do the same thing for BFN, I swore the game off completely.
But what about Battle For Neighborville?
Well, I've never played that and never will. Unless you give me 30 quid and then maybe I'll consider thinking about it. Last year I finally got the game, so yeah, let's go to the dark side and pick out 5 reasons why the often panned third installment of Garden Warfare, but not really as it's a spin-off, is better than the fan favourite Garden Warfare 2. Note that I'm only considering universal aspects of BFN, so anything exclusive to the Switch version will not be factored in. I'm Golden Ninja Vlogspot, please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and here are a few honourable mentions. First, ability cooldowns. Yes, it's an obvious Overwatch ripoff, kind of like a lot of things in this game, but it's nice knowing exactly when you get your instant win Fung Fu back. And it must make things easier for stat compilers since they don't need to whip out their stopwatch that they haven't used since chemistry class. Next, group revives. A pretty simple one really. It helps encourage teamwork, which fits in with the game's more team-oriented direction. It allows multiple people to gain XP, and having a larger revive area is a sweet little benefit. Another one, no spotting icons. I mean, hey, the icons are pretty cool in the first game especially, but sometimes you just don't want your cover blown. And finally, the chat system. This would have more weight if, you know, people actually use it. But the taunts have been expanded to include text bites and emotes, no matter how horrendously dated a lot of them are. You can give brief strategy tips, and being able to choose whatever taunt you want rather than having just 2 assigned to a character is a plus in my book. Right, now onto the main list. First of all, probably the most predictable, the better campaign. GW2's campaign is fine for what it is. There's some cool parts, most notably the Butterhawk mission, but it's not very replayable. BFN, on the other hand, gives the player 4 free roam regions. Well, technically only 3 since the Plants and Zombies both have the town centre, and there's quite a lot to do. Each one has a compulsory set of missions which leads to a boss fight, all of which are pretty damn good. There's hidden gnomes which also lead to an epic fight, costumes to get from the store, battle chests, ops, but we don't talk about BFN ops. And I like that a lot of the multiplayer maps are derived from the free roam areas. Hell, there are some people who genuinely believe BFN is a PvE game as a result of all of this, which explains a lot about how stupid those people are. But in the eyes of many, including myself, the single player actually outdoes the multiplayer in this game. And yet you can invite a pal along to the free roam areas if you need help clapping old school's arse. Second, the customizations. This entry is the main reason I specify that I'm comparing BFN with just GW2 and not both of its predecessors, because GW1's costumes are undisputedly the best. GW2 cosmetics are pretty mediocre for the most part. The whole concept of the silver, gold, diamond and gem versions of almost every costume piece was a bit of a miss. And a lot of them are just plain ugly, even if there's some decent ones hidden in there, such as the Infinity and Scrumptious items, the hero stuff and a handful of GW1 cosmetics that did return. BFN featured the addition of full body costumes, which indirectly replace the zombies' weapon skins, and most of them are pretty sick. The Emo Corn, the Millennium Dragon, the Shag Star himself. The Rewardatron is a pretty fun way to get new pieces of kit, when it's not giving you slop like this. They also act as the big reward at the end of prize maps, giving players an incentive to grind. All in all, yeah, the costumes are quite the step up from the mediocrity in Garden Warfare 2, even if I still miss those weapon skins. Number 3, the health regeneration system. Now for a less noticeable change that nonetheless improves the gameplay in one aspect. In BFN, the health regeneration wait time is much longer, but for the trade-off of the auto healing being much quicker. With the wait time going from 6 seconds to 8 seconds, the heal rate goes from 4 to 20 HP a second. This means you can get back to full health very quickly if you find a safe spot, and tank classes get a very useful health regeneration and health regeneration delay upgrade. Yep, the often lampooned health regeneration delay upgrade is unironically good in this game, and Chomper gets this as well. This is affected by sprinting, which is a mechanic I dislike overall, but they did at least attempt to balance it out by reducing the auto heal and increasing the delay during sprinting. Furthermore, there's now a little gauge indicating when your regen starts, so that's nice. Next, more upgrades. Look, I know this was a cheap and ineffective way to replace variants, and they do not live up to the unique selling point of the game's prequels, but if we look at the upgrades as a standalone aspect, it's better than GW2's, or at the very least more exciting. GW2's are pretty predictable. Health regen delay, then zoom, then health regen, speed, reload, ammo, damage, health. With the occasional overheat upgrades for infinite ammo weapons, elemental upgrades for elemental characters, a pointless penetration upgrade for meaningless extra penetration. BFN has some horribly broken upgrades, not going to deny that, but it has more creative ones than GW2, and there's just something about the anticipation when you're promoting a character, awaiting the upgrades you're about to receive, and the addition of ability upgrades is pretty dope. Also, you get 3 banks to save costume and upgrade combinations, so you can switch between them on the fly. Legendary upgrades also spice up the gameplay. Too bad it wasn't fully fleshed out and we only got 4 of them. And finally, better periodical events. Yes, we're ending with some controversy. I think BFN's weekly events, at least with the rotation we got after the devs cut support for the game, is better than Garden Warfare 2's Town Hall. First, it's weekly instead of monthly, and there is always an event on, unlike Garden Warfare 2 when the events don't even span half a month. And secondly, I'd argue BFN has a better rotation. There's a lot of ones that are basically pointless, such as Boss Turf Takeover and Satellite Takeover, and the abysmal Rando Ops, but there's some solid ones thrown in there, such as Double Trouble, Boss Team Vanquish, and of course, Battle Arena. For those that miss Soul Survivors, and be honest, that's every single person watching this video, and if you say otherwise, I'm strapping you up to a polygraph. You can seek solace with this fun 4v4 elimination game mode. There's some events that are no longer playable in BFN, but those are basically just minor variations of existing game modes that are limited to certain classes, as opposed to GW2 which lost the majority of the fan favourite game modes in favour of this shithole. Of course, BFN has less playable permanent game modes with mixed mode being removed and Suburbanation, Vanquish Confirmed and Gnome Bomb not being playable options outside of private play. But when it comes to limited time game modes, BFN has greater variety, a much shorter waiting period, and better quality, and also it helps that there's no unplayable game modes that are required to 100% the game's achievements. That's my list. What reasons do you have to prefer BFN to Garden Warfare 2? Let me know in the comments, leave a like, hit subscribe, do all that good stuff. GW2's Revenge will also be coming soon, maybe. I'm Golden Ninja Vlogspot, thanks for watching.